I would like to show you in this video how to make my little in the hoop Santa boot, or as I call it in my Etsy shop, Nikolausstiefelchen. It's fully lined, as you can see, and all the seams are hidden. It is not difficult to make, but you have to be accurate when you make it. The pattern is here, and to make this video shorter, I have removed this applique circle, so it's only the quilted boot with the foot and heel on it. You'll need 2 pieces of fabric. Here it's neutral colored linen with a fusible quilt batting on the back. Here's the lining. It's a woven cotton fabric, also on this model, with the fusible quilt batting on the back. You don't have to do that if you want a thinner or lightweight boot. Also, you are going to need 2 pieces of fabric for the heel and the foot. And to help you keep things in place, paper tape. This is painter's paper tape. I have hooped my hoop here, the 5x7 hoop, because it's the smallest boot that I'm going to show you, with tearaway stabilizer. My hoop is now in place. The design is on my embroidery machine, and I'm ready for the first step, which is an outline of the boot and a placement line for the fabrics. The outline for the boot is here, and here is the placement line for the fabrics. They are 2 steps and in 2 different colors, but you can just continue with 1 color or thread. I've chosen the black one here because it's easier to see. Now I will remove my hoop from the machine, turn it upside down like this, as you can see here. And now I'm going to place the linen fabric first on the back of the hoop. To make sure it's the right piece, I just place it here, right side up, but I'm going to flip it over and place it so it covers the line, the placement line just below the outline a bit. And may I say, I have cut out the pieces with 2 centimeters seam allowance on all sides. Now I put on a piece of painter's tape to keep the fabric in place when I turn the hoop right side up again, like this. Make sure it's attached thoroughly and there are no, I have to make sure from experience it will be a problem if there are creases. I will carefully make sure it stays there, and you can see it through the stabilizers here. I replace my hoop in the machine and take the front fabric, which is going to be here, the front of the boot, and also to check it's the right piece, I put it upside down here, right side up here, and flip it and place it the exact same way as I did on the back, with the lining aligned with each other. And I'm going to move it a bit here. And also this one I will secure momentarily with painter's tape. Now I'm going to embroider the attachment stitch that attaches these 2 pieces of fabric to the stabilizer, like this. Next step is I will remove the painter's tape, take them aside. Maybe they can be reused, maybe not. And now I flip the front fabric over like this. The fabric on the back stays there, and this is very important. This step is very important because of the accuracy, and that you are not going to close the outside of the boot at the final steps. So please finger press and be sure it's very accurate. Now you put down the foot again. You can put the tapes at the foot and at the heel to keep it secure, like this. And now you simply make a line up here, a top stitch that will keep this sharp. And this is the process where I embroider the quilted pattern on the boot. In the next steps, you are going to attach the accented fabrics for the heel and the toe. And I have chosen the same striped woven fabric as for the lining. Here you can see a line, and that one is going to be your guide for this piece of fabric. I align the edge of the accented fabric for the heel with this edge and make the attachment stitch. Like this. Then I flip over the fabric, and I have the tape from before, and I flip over the fabric, finger press, and attach the tape to keep it in place. I repeat at the foot here, aligning the accented fabric with this line, embroider the attachment stitch, and flip over the, oh, the machine moved. I flip over the fabric as I did with the heel and keep it in place with my piece of tape. Now I'm going to attach all around these so that the pieces that heel and foot are kept in place. The next step in the design order, if I hadn't removed it, is to attach the circle applique part here and a motif, a number, or whatever design you want to embellish your little boot with. But I've skipped that to make the video shorter. So now I'm going to remove the hoop from my machine, turn it out upside down again, and now I'm going to flip the back of the fabric on the back of the hoop, the lining piece here, just like I did on the front, but not until the motif has been made on the front. I flip it over, and again, it's very important to finger press here, be accurate. Maybe you can even see the punches from the stitches, so that you are sure it is thoroughly finger pressed. Use your paper tape to keep it in place, and maybe here you would like to have yet another to be sure it's stay there like this. It's very important. Now you turn the hoop upside down again and replace it in the machine for the attachment of the back piece. My thread is not in, sorry. This is the stitch that attaches the fabric on the back. We are almost done actually, because without the motif, this boot is actually fairly fast to make. So let me show you that it's attached. No, there is one step more here. I have to wait. There is another top stitch here at the top of the front of the boot. As you can see here, I was a bit too fast, sorry. And right now I remember that I have a white bobbin thread, so it will be visible when I show you the back of the boot. it's not so bad. But here you can see, and it's still very, very accurate up here. I can actually now remove these pieces of tape so that they won't be in the way later. And as you can see, the boot has been attached on the back too. I turn the hoop right side up again, and now I'm ready for the attachment of the back of the boot, the outer back of the boot. And I put it over here and align it with the front. As you can see, it overlaps with almost the 2 centimeters that I used for seam allowance. And now I'm going to attach this back of the outer fabric to the boot. No, sorry. I did something wrong here. I forgot to attach the strap. And it's good to make errors so you can see that I also do that. So now I will have to go a step back, remove this one here, and go find a strap. Errors are good, mistakes are good, because they are learning potential, also for me. So I'll go find a strap and be back in a minute. Well, I had to go back a step in the design order. So now I am here again. I have just attached the lining on the back, and now I'm going to make the placement line for the strap like this. And I place the strap here like this and attach it with the attachment stitch. So, and now ready for the attachment of the outer back of the boot. Place it again here, aligned with the sides here, and ready to go. As you can see, I have made plenty of seam allowance, but I'd rather do that than too little. That's how I work. So, and now for the final step. Yes, you heard me right, it was the final step. Take the hoop of the machine, turn it around, and as you can see it here on the back, now we're going to place this one, the back of the lining, right side down here, and with tapes to keep it in place. Painter's tape is good, actually, because you can also, if it's under the seam, it won't make any difference. So like this, kept in place, and I turn the hoop right side up again, like this, and the final step, making sure that it's still under there. Yeah, it is. Everything is fine here. Hopefully the lines will also be quite close. And for the final step now, it's a double running stitch, and I let it run so that you can see and hear what happens at the top, because what's most important, and the reason why you had to be so accurate up here, is that at the top, in order not to close the opening, this line will only be embroidered through the 2 last layers of fabric, not the others. Can you hear the difference in the sound? It's more strained, very light, only 2 pieces of fabric, and more strained here when it's the strap and a lot of fabric and stabilizer. Ole is nodding. He can also hear the difference in the sound. It sounds a bit strange, but it's okay. Actually, now the embroidery of the boot is finished. And I can unhoop and on the back remove the pieces of paper tape. And I can feel with my finger also that I have not sewn through the other layers of the boot, so the opening is still there. I will now unhoop, put the hoop aside and tear off excess stabilizer around the boot here as much as I can, like this, and go find my pinking shears for the trimming. So we'll be back. Now I'm back with my pinking shears. I find that very handy when you're going to trim down seam allowance, and I also cut off the corners. There is an opening here, that's for turning the boot. Going to trim with approximately 2 to 3 millimeters and the corners, and then a lot of layers. So also my pinking shears are a bit strained here, but it will work. I've done it before. I've made plenty of these little boots all the way around. I could also do it on the back, so I was supposed to see the last seam that I made. And 2 to 3 millimeters all the way around, but at the opening I leave 1.5 centimeter, sorry, here at the opening. Now I'm going to turn the boot, and with this little version, it is a bit narrow, it is a bit tricky, but it's doable. And I will go find a needle pin, a blunt needle pin to make the corners sharp. I have a wooden one, size 10 or so, that is very good for the purpose. And I can, here you can see my opening. You can also see the stabilizer at the top edge, and I'm going to remove that as well. It's a bit of a work, but also nice. Yeah, Ole brought me, he's helping me with this one. It's so great to have a nice and supportive hubby. So he brought me the needle pin, and I can use that for making the edge of the boot sharp without making holes in the seam. That's not the purpose of it, just to make them sharp here. And then I fold in the seam allowance here at the opening, and as you can see here, close this seam by hand. We'll be back. I'm almost done with the hand stitching, of the opening here. I use ladder stitches because I find them most invisible for purposes like this. And then the opening will, the closing of the turning opening will be almost invisible. If I wanted my project to be two-sided and reversible, I make sure to tie my thread so it won't run afterwards. And now I'm ready for turning the boots outside to the front, like this. It's easier to turn the larger boots. This one is the most tricky one when it comes to turning. Again, the needle pin with the blunt end will be a nice helper. And again, it's important that you didn't trim down too much, so the seams will go to pieces when you handle it this roughly at the end of the project. But as you can see, the small Nikolausstiefelchen, the Santa boot with its strap attached at the right place. Here, the opening intact. The reason why it can be a bit tricky, this one, and that you have to be accurate, is that this is what the Germans call haargenau, very close. The back is only a couple of millimeters taller than the front, or higher, as you can see here. So if you are not accurate when folding these two layers of the boot, you will accidentally attach them when you make the last one. That was why I emphasized that I was able to hear the machine go through only 2 layers and not 4. That's the reason why. And let me also emphasize that preparations is very good, and they ensure that you have a good result. So iron your fabrics so that they are not full of creases. Finger press thoroughly up here, and when you trim the seam allowance, also do not trim too much or too little. So you can make one as a sample, and then you are good to go, and I'm sure you will find this one a lot of fun to make in all the 4 sizes. Thank you for watching. You can find the Nikolausstiefelchen in fruBlomgren on Etsy.